Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. So as the title of this video may have indicated, we have just gotten some news about Delta Force that the alpha is going to unfortunately be delayed. The game director has given a bit of a statement on exactly why that has happened, so we're going to take a look at that in a second here. But then I also wanted to follow up and take a look at the other angle of the conversation about Delta Force and Battlefield. Obviously, as many of you guys have noticed yourselves, there are a lot of similarities between these two games, and so this begs the question, is it just a cheap Battlefield knockoff? We're going to get into all of that juicy stuff in a minute, but before we do, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Lots more Delta Force to come here on the channel, as well as Battlefield, of course. Those of you who are waiting on Battlefield, we will be getting back to that game eventually once things cool down on the Delta Force front, so don't worry, I haven't abandoned it. And as always, guys, thank you for the support. Okay, so let's get straight into the game director's statement here. This is hot off the press, so to speak. And he says here, "Dear operators, we previously announced that Delta Force Hawk Ops would launch its first PC alpha test on July 18th. However, we need more time to deliver a more polished experience for you. In the spirit of transparent communication, we want to share more details with you. On July the 11th, we conducted a pre-alpha technical test, inviting a small group of players to rigorously evaluate the game and our release pipeline," which is, by the way, where you've been seeing some videos from some people, but not from others like myself. "During this test, we encountered several issues that need to be addressed to ensure you have the best experience possible. These issues include long queuing times for multiplayer modes and localization issues. Our commitment to quality means we need more time to polish the game thoroughly before presenting it to tens of thousands of you in the PC alpha test. Delta Force Hawk Ops is our passion project, and we have so much game content in store to delight you. For this test, we will have 3 Hazard Operation maps and 2 Havoc Warfare maps. We also have a cast of 6 operators, countless weapons and modifications for you to explore, allowing you to truly express yourself in the game. The team is very excited and nervous to welcome you into the world we've created over the past 4 years, and we really want to ensure you have a great experience. We will be back with the new date for our PC alpha test very soon, and we promise that you won't have to wait too long. We look forward to seeing many of you having fun in our game. Everyone on the team will be eagerly awaiting your feedback, but until then, take care and stay awesome." So this comes as a bit of a surprise because as far as I've heard from those who have participated in this technical test, the game has been pretty smooth. Yes, there's been the odd bug here and there, but I mean, this is an alpha test, right? That's kind of expected. So this comes in as a bit of a shock, I think, at least to myself and probably to some of you guys as well. I wanted to put this message out because I've been talking about the date for the alpha test in my past few videos, and I know a lot of you guys were excited for the 18th. I was myself, but according to the game director here, he says it's not going to be too long of a wait. I can understand why they haven't given us a date yet. Whatever issues they have with the game, they want to make sure that they've ironed those out before they go ahead and announce a date. I have to say, I did wonder why they were running a technical alpha the week before the actual alpha. If we're being realistic, how many changes can they actually make within that week when the build's got to be like ready to go? It doesn't really make a lot of sense why they would do that. But I have to say, I do think this is the correct decision. It's certainly comforting to see that they're not afraid to delay the game in order to fix something that's wrong with it. They seem to be placing a lot of emphasis on making sure that the game is polished and as perfect as possible when it goes into the alpha, which doesn't really scream alpha to me. That really screams more like marketing beta. I can understand, of course, this is the first impression of the game that people are going to get, and like they say, tens of thousands of players are going to get the chance to try it, and many of those players will make up their mind right there and then on the spot, alpha or no, whether they're going to play the game in the future based on performance, based on bugs, based on gameplay, and all of the rest of it. So yes, I understand them wanting to have the game as polished as possible, but, you know, if it's an alpha, you kind of expect there to be some bugs as well. Now, moving on here, since you guys are all Battlefield fans, I thought there's something that we should discuss here. I've noticed 2 differing opinions when it comes to my Delta Force videos. A lot of you guys are leaving comments saying that it looks extremely similar, strikingly similar to Battlefield 2042 specifically. Some people think this is a good thing, and they say things like, oh, it's like how Battlefield 2042 should have been if DICE and EA actually made the game correctly. and other people seem to think it looks just like a cheap Chinese knockoff. That's kind of what the Chinese do over there. They just seem to be, I don't know, more accepting of blatantly copying other people's ideas and not trying to hide it at all. And yesterday's video was all about how Delta Force's Hazard Operations mode, which is the extraction mode, blows Battlefield 2042's Hazard Zone mode, their extraction mode, out of the water. They really aren't comparable. A lot of people, I think, misunderstood and thought that I was just saying that Delta Force craps all over Battlefield in general. I was purely talking about those two extraction game modes. Obviously, whether Havoc Warfare is going to be better than, let's say, Battlefield 2042's All-Out Warfare remains to be seen, and I'm going to have to play the game to come to a conclusion there. But I think when it comes to the extraction modes, if you just look at the gameplay, it's clear as day. There are literal mechanics that have been handcrafted, such as the inventory system or the healing system, and put in just for that game mode, which is something that Battlefield didn't do. Battlefield's Hazard Zone mode was basically just tacked on at the end of its life cycle and not really given any love whatsoever. However, guys, Battlefield fans, don't worry, because I have some pretty harsh critique for Delta Force as well. So as we started to see more and more of the gameplay and screenshots have been revealed to us, I've had some people who are in a technical test send me some screenshots of the menus. I started to notice just how much they have, well, there's no two ways about it. They have blatantly copied Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 2042 specifically. So here's a screenshot of the Tier 1 skin, or the Mastery skin, for the M1A4 battle tank. Looks pretty similar on the colour scheme to Battlefield 2042, doesn't it? Now, maybe that's just a coincidence. Maybe they really like black and red, right? But take a look at these right here. This is the loadout for the battle tank. We've got the 120mm armor-piercing shell, the 120mm high explosive shell, then we've got the APF SDS, which I thought was armor piercing anyway, so I'm not sure why you've also got the armor piercing shell, but I digress. Then we've got the coaxial light machine gun and the heavy machine gun. We've got the smoke, and we've got the thermal smoke as countermeasures or gear slot 1, and then we've got repairs, and we've got active defense. Is this not exactly the same, like almost word for word, as the Battlefield 2042 main battle tank loadout? If you even look at the UI here, the UI is almost exactly the same. Anything that isn't unlocked, they've got these like striped lines across it. The layout of the UI is the same, with the list being on the left and the subcategories being along the top of the screen. Why you would want to copy Battlefield 2042's UI, or really anything from Battlefield 2042, is beyond me. If you want to copy a Battlefield game, believe me, there are better titles out there. Let's take a look at the attack helicopter here. So we've got the anti-infantry rockets, we've got the smart rocket missiles, we've got the anti-vehicle rocket missiles, then we've got an ATG missile, and then we've got air-to-air missiles, flares, and repairs. Now, obviously, a lot of these weapons are based on real life, right? So you can't necessarily say, hey, we've like copyrighted that missile or that weapon system, but I think it's clear to anybody who has ever played Battlefield before that these devs just went and looked at Battlefield 2042 and they said, hey, let's just copy this guy's homework. Now, of course, it doesn't end there either. If you guys have checked out the operators, there is literally a support guy with a healing gun that he can inject into his arm to heal himself, or he can fire at friendly soldiers to heal them, just like Falk's Surette pistol. I've also seen other people point out that the headshot icon in the Hazard Operation mode is essentially the same icon that was in Battlefield 1, and they've just ripped that off. Other people have noticed that the gunplay looks strikingly similar to Call of Duty, and that the weapon reloads are strikingly similar to Call of Duty as well. In fact, there are videos on YouTube, if you go and Google, I'm sure you'll find them, comparing the reloads in Delta Force Hawk Ops to the reloads of Modern Warfare from 2019, and you can line them up almost frame for frame. There's just no two ways about it. The developers of this game have gone and copied other people's work. I'd honestly be super interested to know what are the rules in the video game development world about this sort of copyright infringement. I mean, I would say it seems pretty blatant, but I think for us, the players, this is obviously maybe an issue for EA, Activision, and DICE and all the rest of them, but for us, the players, does it really matter to us? Like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of people are saying, hey, this looks like Battlefield 2042 if the game would have released in a better state. And maybe this is sort of on DICE and EA, right? They had their shot at making a good Battlefield game. They kind of screwed it up, and now somebody else has swept in here, and they're going to have a crack and see if they can deliver a similar experience, but one that actually works from release and has proper mouse input. And I think at the very least, this could certainly be a danger to DICE and EA and to the Battlefield franchise. And I actually think that's a good thing. Hopefully, this gives DICE and EA the kick up the arse that they need, if they hadn't already received it, to make a good, solid Battlefield game, not to cut corners, and to deliver on the quality that players deserve. And my God, do we deserve a quality game at launch after the past, what, like 2, 3, 4 titles that released in the embarrassing state that they did? So hopefully something good is going to come of this. In the meantime, even though they may have copied a lot of stuff from Battlefield and Call of Duty, maybe we're going to have some fun with this game. I'm going to leap in, I'm going to try it. It is going to be free to play as well, so even if you guys don't get into the alpha, when the game does finally release, you're going to be able to play for free. So I guess, like, there's no harm, no foul, really, right? You may as well give it a shot. This may well turn out to be a game that dies within a couple of weeks, and it's just like a nothing burger. But on the other hand, you never really know when the next big thing is coming along, right? Sometimes games just come out of nowhere and take the internet and the world by storm, so you can never write any of them off either. As always, guys, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you for watching today. Subscribe for more Delta Force and Battlefield, and I'll see you guys in the next video.